Hello guys, this is Alan with a part 2 video for our green-blue Proliferate deck. We managed to build a really powerful green-blue Proliferate deck. If you want to check out the draft, just look at the first video that I put up. But for the most part, I'm pretty happy with this draft. The goal is just to proliferate a bunch. We have some win conditions as flyers, as big creatures, whatnot. We're looking to win by dealing damage to the opponent. So yeah, pretty solid deck. Our weakness is kind of like the interaction. We don't have much. There's Callous Dismissal, a Band Together, and not much, I guess. Yeah, we don't have much in terms of interaction. So we're just looking to make a lot of big creatures and force the opponent to awkward trades and just try to smash through. It would be better if we have a lot more interaction, but unfortunately I did pass them up for like other 3-drops, but overall pretty solid deck. So yeah, let's get the show on the road. In white, if you looked at first video, we would have a lot more interaction, but I think blue just had a lot more powerful creatures and it was a lot more open in terms of power level. Given that we commenced the end game in pick 2 pack 1, we were also just gambling that we would pick up interaction spells along the way, but unfortunately we didn't get much. So sometimes in draft you do take a risk and you either pay off or you don't. So there's definitely an RNG component in draft. You don't know which colors are open too very often. You don't know if it's the correct call, the correct 2 colors early in the draft. You might not pick up enough removal, or you might not even pick up enough good creatures. But I think we should have the evasive creature and the power to punch through an opponent and maybe just stall them out and block them. But definitely would want more ways to balance creatures and to remove them. Maybe some ramp would have been great in this deck too. But so be it. Alright, so starting hand, what are we looking at? Nice Pollen Bright Druid on 2. We do have a Callous Dismissal and Vivian's Grizzly. So I can just start the game with 2/2, I guess. Play Grizzly and go on from there. We're also in the draw, so maybe I think we can get there. So yeah, let's try this hand out. Now the question is, do I just play Pollen Bright Druid on 2 and put a counter on it? That's a good question. Or maybe I can just delay it, play out the Vivian's Grizzly, and well, seems like the opponent's playing the same colors. Now what? I could bounce this back, making a mass token. Don't think that really accomplishes much. Maybe I can just try to race some, trade 2 for 2 for now, and put a counter onto my own Pollen Bright. Merfolk Skydiver would have been an excellent card that I wouldn't mind having in this deck as well. Definitely going to take 2 here. The opponent could just play a ground blocker and stall me out, and that just does happen. So now what? There's a Snare Spinner that I can potentially use to block the Skydiver. You could have removal, however, so I might just be a little bit hesitant. I could bounce this back and attack in for 2. Don't think that really accomplishes much. I could just play Snare Spinner and kind of force the removal, in a sense. Or I can just play Grizzly and take 2 for now. Maybe he just might use a removal on Grizzly. So yeah, let's try this out. Just take 2 for now. And if he's willing to use a pump trick to trade into this and remove this 2/3, I might be fine with that. So I guess he's not. He does have the activation ability up, which I don't care too much about. Kazmina is pretty annoying.
Come, Em. Focus on what matters.
Let's see. So now what? I could bounce the token for free, making a mass token. Put a counter on maybe the Vivian's Grizzly and attack with the 3/3. I could play out Snare Spinner and just bounce it back. I think I want to pressure the Planeswalker a bit, so I think I'm just gonna... I think bouncing the token is nice, maybe putting a counter on this 2/2, and then attacking in is pretty solid, just so I can have a blocker for this 2/3 with my other 2/3. Save a little bit of life. So yeah, I think I'm fine pressuring him a bit. Oh, I need to pay 4. So that's pretty obnoxious. So now what? Don't have any good attacks. I could just put a counter onto the Vivian's Grizzly and attack, but he's just going to double block. Or the Palm Bright Druid. So yeah, maybe I just play out the Snare Spinner here. And I can set up a turn where I do attack. And what do I put a counter on? Maybe just this Grizzly. Do I attack? Probably not. I could place it on a Snare Spinner, but this is already blocking the Merfolk Skydiver. This Casmina, if it manages to proliferate, does seem pretty annoying. Now I do have a good target for Callous Dismissal. Now there's Kiyora's Dambreaker, which can help me proliferate next turn. I could just attack, obviously. But I think I want to use this turn to just get rid of this token. Is there a reason to bounce back maybe my own Palm Bright Druid? Get another counter, and next turn we can set up a nice proliferate with 2 other targets. But I think it's much more important to just get rid of this, I think. And yeah, I don't think I'm attacking. Just say go. Opponent could just start activating the Merfolk Skydiver. Well, Narcissus is pretty annoying.
I know 88
but hopefully he doesn't find any bomb spells that I care too much about. There's a New Horizons, which can give something a counter, and then he can start proliferating. I can also start being more greedy, I guess. Maybe I put a counter on the Snare Spinner, and then set up a Kiyora's Dambreaker. Or I can just Kiyora's now. Probably try to do a double attack. He can just do some double blocks, I guess, or just chump. He's most likely just going to triple block the Vivian's Grizzly. Like, he could just activate this ability next turn. And then proliferate, which can be quite annoying. So maybe I just go for it. He could double block this 2/2. I take out a Grizzly. Or I can just play it slowly. Yeah, let's just play out the Kiyora's Dambreaker. And I like this as a pretty solid attacker as well. I think I'm willing to attack. I could use this Vivian's Grizzly to find creatures, but I think I want to pressure the Planeswalkers just to force some blocks here. He's going to have to double block here, and I'll have to take out token. I do lose the 3/3, but I think he might be fine losing this Vivian's Grizzly. I definitely want to kill off this Skydiver if possible. And I do have a Kiyora's Dambreaker attack with next turn. And he does lose out on value by losing this Grizzly, so he can't be able to search creatures with it. So yeah, overall I think this is a pretty solid turn for us. So he needs to pay 5 mana to activate this ability. And if he plays the New Horizons, he's only going to have have 4 mana up, 1, 2, 3, 4. So he can't activate this ability at all. He would need an extra land.
I have
Sure.
just the trick for this.
Well, that's annoying, but I don't think he can splash it. Well, now he can. But I think he's still a little bit far behind. I don't care too much. Another Snare Spinner looks excellent. We can potentially force a double block. Now what? I think Kiyora's Dambreaker has a nice attack. If I put a counter onto the Vivian's Grizzly, it does have a nice attack. Otherwise, he's just going to double block. Which I might be fine with him trading off. Some pretty interesting options here. I think I like the second Snare Spinner as a way to block his flyers. I mean, he's just gonna start activating the Grizzly next turn. So I mean the Skydiver next turn. So I think it's fine just pressuring his Planeswalkers for now.
I will have to form a mighty warrior. I concede.
He's just going to keep proliferating, but I think we can start punching in for a lot of damage. And finding creature spells that we might need to main phase. He could have a removal spell. Yeah, Spark Harvest, sure. Nurture is a bit obnoxious. Okay, so I think I'm just going to attack here with the Kiyora's Dambreaker. There's no other good attacks. Say go. This can be a little bit obnoxious, the fact that he can just activate the Skydiver to keep pumping it. So I probably need to get rid of this card soon. So let's see, if I attack next turn and he activates the Skydiver, what happens? He's just going to double block my Kiyora's Dambreaker and it dies. So I kind of need to find an answer for this Skydiver, otherwise I'm dead. So don't really have any good attacks here. Yeah, I think he's just gonna win with the Skydiver. Like, I would love a Band Together to take it out pretty soon. Otherwise, don't know if I could play this game any better. Well, there's a Vatic Visionary which can find me perhaps a Band Together or commence the endgame or something even better. I think I'm keeping the land to hand just to make sure I can loot. I think I just main phase this. Well, that's not the card I'm looking for. So now what? Maybe just put a counter onto Dambreaker. Could start attacking in next turn. Maybe on the Snare Spinner it's better. Could give me an extra turn in case he attacks with a Skydiver. And I can still double block him. Well, I think I'm dead, pretty much. Now his 7/7 has lifelink. Okay, so yeah, so this is the problem with a deck that doesn't have too many interaction spells. You run into problems like these where you cannot remove the opponent's creatures. So maybe it was right taking something like I forgot that card, the Totally Lost at 5 mana. So, ooh, commence the endgame looks pretty excellent. I don't think I discard the Drake though, however. I could discard a Drake, play out a land, and try to activate this end of turn. But I think the Drake might be too important, just as an invasive win condition. So. Opponent's just going to gain a ton of life attacking with this 11/11. I think I just have to chump block this. Opponent plays another big creature. I have 6. I can still loot away. And instant speed. So I think I'm fine playing out the land because I'm gonna have 8 lands. I can draw 2 cards, and then at the end, then I can loot away the Erratic Visionary still. So. Guess I can try to win by decking the opponent, perhaps. Bandit Getter is excellent. So now what? Yeah, I think I'm just dead. There's no way I'm beating a 13/13 lifelinker. So yeah. The enchantment definitely wanted the opponent to game. Definitely a powerful card to splash for. So yeah, let's move on. Sometimes the deck is just better than yours and you can't win. Especially with no way to deal with the Merfolk Skydiver early in the game that just pretty much cost me, so. Right, I have Visionary on 2, Snare Spinner on 2, Bloomhoke to potentially proliferate. I think this is worth keeping. Now which one do I play first? Maybe just Snare Spinner. We'll see. Snare Spinner, we do have double Snare Spinner, so there could be just one in the deck later on that I can use to block this Vampire Opportunist. Other than that, I don't think I'm using Erratic Vision at all. So yeah, I think I'll just play out the Erratic Visionary, offer a block on the 2/1, because I think we can get there if we stall out and we can find enough playables. Or if he attacks, I might be suspicious and not block, and maybe set up the Snare Spear next turn to potentially trade for this Opportunist. Alright, sure. Definitely taking it here. Now what? I could play the Grizzly, potentially trade for the Vampire Opportunist, or I can set up a double block, perhaps, on this Opportunist. Opponent might not be playing many flyers in black-green, so I think I might just offer the double block. I could get blown out, of course, if he has like some dumb combat trick. Like he could have that in +2/+0 indestructible, but he still just gets a free trade. So I think I'm fine with this. Nurture is okay. Still have a pretty decent double block on this 3/2. Okay, yeah, I think I'm fine double blocking here. You can take the Visionary or the Spinner. Okay, seems like he doesn't have many flyers. That's the reason why he did it. So yeah, I don't mind the Thunder Drake here. Put out a nice evasive flyer. If he attacks the 1/1, what happens? He could have Unlikely Aid, and he could just kill off my Thunder Drake. Opponent is in that black-green multicolor deck, so gotta be a bit careful. It means Grizzly can help him find cards later in the game. Okay, now what? Ooh, Band Together seems solid. Do I Band Together to Vivian's Grizzly? Maybe. This would prevent him from searching out playables. Or I can just save it. Pretty close call. I could just play out the Bloomhoke as a 4/4. And I can save up these 2 spells to potentially double spell next turn. Because this hand is kind of awkward, to be honest. Like, I would like to proliferate with this, but maybe we just play out the Grizzly and say go. And next turn we can decide whether to band together or not. Yeah, let's do that. I think I'm attacking with the 2/3. Yeah, he's probably just going to activate it, and I think this might be a good target to kill off with the band together, unless he finds a bigger creature. The fact that he uses this means that he doesn't have many playables in his hand. So okay, Omnixilis Cruelty. Omnixilis, okay. Omnixilis can help me draw cards. This only deals with creatures, so I think I'm happy just taking out this Grizzly, maybe, so he doesn't keep using it. Courage and Crisis seems pretty annoying. Okay, I might just double block this, in fact. I can still double block this next turn, kill off the Grizzly. Is that a good play? I could actually just band together on this card. But I don't want him to keep drawing cards, so I think I'm fine with this trade here. Iron Bully. Now what? Maybe I just pull the trigger on the band together now. Because he's just going to kill this next turn anyways with the Thunder Drake. Pretty interesting call here. Yeah, I think I just fire it off now. And do I just attack him for 3? Maybe 2 is fine. He could just use it on his own creatures to draw cards, but I think he's just going to take out the flyer so it can't attack past.
Armies marched and soldiers died, all for my reign. I am not. Others will learn from your mistake. It is just a small headache.
Alright, so the opponent is giving me a lot of value by giving me these cards to draw. I think I want to still pressure him a bit. I could bounce this Crunch Wrangler back and then put a counter onto the Snare Spinner and pressure. I do have 5 mana up, so what would be the best line of play? Maybe just put a counter onto the Snare Spinner, play out a 2/2 and just attack. Yeah, I think it's worth it. And if he wants to trade for the 2/1, that's totally fine. I could just bounce it and attack for 2. But nah, I think I want to just develop the board and try to force a trade here. And I'm fine trading this 1/1 off with the Crunch Wrangler. He could give me more cards, but he could just sacrifice his own and draw cards. But I'm getting a free kill here anyways, if he decides to block with this 2/1. I think I want to save the interaction spell because my deck is lacking removal. So I think I'd rather just keep this in my opening hand, in my hand. I will be taking 2 from the Centaur Nurture next turn, but this 1/1 can block this 2/1 fairly nicely. I don't think this is the right card for his colors, to be honest. You want to play this in a more aggressive deck, of course. But the fact that you just gave me all these playables is pretty nuts. I think the opponent might have just conceded. Sure, if he wants to block, okay. I guess not.
Feels little pain.
Leyline Prowler, okay. Alright, yeah, definitely blocking the 2/1. Yeah, it has trample, so I'm just gonna take 1, but I'm happy that I'm blocking with this just so it can't grow in the future. I can still take out Omnixilus here, so that seems pretty decent. So now what?
Knowledge is not without prize.
I could Jiang Yang Gu here. I could bounce back with Callous Dismissal. A lot of options. I think I can just attack and then commence the endgame end of turn.
Never cross me again.
Maybe just take 2 damage from this 2/3. This isn't gonna give me. Actually, I can't. Actually, I'm just gonna let the damage happen, and then I'm just gonna get a big amass token at the end of the turn. So seems excellent. Now we have a nice 5/5 attacker. And now I guess I can start putting counters onto the bird.
Come on, Mobile. Time to have your day. Teamwork is strength.
Now I can proliferate this Boomhawk. And I could just Callous Dismissal this 2/3, but this is a lot of damage. Yeah, I might trade off the 3/5 for the 2/3, or maybe I just take it. But yeah, definitely totally outvaluing the opponent here. So right, so currently 1-1. We'll see if we'll get there. Let's go. I wish this deck just had a lot more removal and ways to deal with the opponent's creatures, to be honest. I think it would have been a way better deck. There's a weakness with the Proliferate decks, the fact that you can put so much counter onto one creature, and then the opponent can just remove it can be a bit of an issue. So it does fall into problems sometimes of, just focusing on too much and just getting destroyed by a single removal spell. But overall, yeah, green blue Proliferate is a pretty solid deck. It would have been great if we picked up another Merfolk Skydiver for our deck, or maybe in Rolesque. But yeah, so be it. Alright, so what are we looking at? Double Palmbright Druid into Thunderdrake seems pretty excellent. Make a bunch of 2/2s, proliferate them later, help them grow. Yeah, I don't mind this hand. And in late game, you can double spell the Thunderdrake and get a ton of value out of it. It sucks that we have both our 2-drops in the opening hand, therefore it might be a little bit harder to get the Thunderdrake growth going, but this is pretty solid. Opponent's the same colors, so yeah, seems like a pretty popular color. Kind of sad that I have to maybe trade this off against the Crunch Wrangler, but I think I might be fine just exchanging damage, to be honest. Like, this can grow, but it's not really good trade. I'm just gonna lose a 2/2. Next turn, I could just trade this off, however, and then okay, sure, I'm actually fine with that. I don't mind. He uses a whole entire removal spell on a single 2/2, and now there's a Strix, which I wouldn't mind just playing out and trading for the 2/1. Next turn, I can play Thunderdrake. The following turn, I can put a counter on this Strix, and then wow, another removal. Okay, I don't think that's good though. But I'm willing to trade if he does. Definitely not attacking here. I want this to trade into the 2/1. I could save the spell in case I have like a 3-drop. So that's pretty annoying. So there's a good reason to maybe put a counter on the Strix and then just try to trade for the 3/2. So no blocks here. I think I do need to deal with this Challenger Troll, and I can deal with it with Commence the Endgame. So, how about just play out the Druid? Should tap a little bit more efficiently to keep up green. Put a counter on the Strix, attack with the 2/3 in the air. I might just take the damage from the 6/5, to be honest. I can commence the endgame for 4 next turn, draw a bunch of cards, and then I might just take 6 here, believe it or not, just so I can preserve my creatures for value. Probably offer a double block. Probably just find a way to deal with this Challenger Troll in the later games. Sure. Now I have some chump blockers I don't mind throwing in front of this Challenger Troll. He doesn't have Trample. So now what? Let's play out the Island. I can only block 1 creature of this. I think I want to commence the endgame this turn. Let's just see how much. I can only amass for 4. So, let's see. I might just chump block here. And I think I want to just chump block with maybe, which is a better chump blocker, Thunderdrake. Now what? Maybe I can just Courage in Crisis here. I do want to grow this zombie army. Like, I could play out Jiang Yang Gu, give this a counter, or maybe just Courage in Crisis is just better as a way to grow all my creatures. Have a nice blocker for the Crunch Wrangler. Think I might just save Yang Yangu and say go. It would kind of suck if he has a way to deal with this 5-5. But currently I think I need to play some defense. I need a way to deal with this Challenger Troll. Arlen's a bit obnoxious.
Time to test the bonds. Let nature guide you.
Callous Dismissal seems great. So I could Callous Dismissal this wolf. This Challenger Troll. Maybe put a counter onto the... Oh, I could just Callous Dismissal this 3-3, attack with the 5-5, and go from there. I could Callous Dismissal on this Challenger Troll, in fact, maybe put a counter on this zombie army and I attack. What happens, he's just going to double block. I could just bounce this wolf and attack in with the 5-5 and force him to trade into it. That can be an option. Lots of interesting choices here. Let's try this instead. I think this should be fine.
The moon wanes.
And I could just play Jiang Yangu to grow this zombie army
nice to meet you.
by
I'd
7.
love share in my
It
strength.
could be a little bit bad against removal, but other than that, it does block the Challenger Troll pretty nicely. Ooh, Bandit Getter is nice. Yeah, I think I'm just going to cast it now. And do I grow this 7-7? Probably not. I think I'm just save the Proliferate counters. Palm Bright Druid looks excellent. I could just play it out to Proliferate. Sure. Still a 2-turn clock, so I don't see any reason to pump this 7-7. Augur is just a chump blocker. Now he can Epiphany to just scry and draw some answers. Keeps 2 on top, so maybe he found the Callous Dismissal that he's looking for. I think I'm just going to attack here. I don't care if Jiang Yangu loses a counter. Ooh, Kiyora's Dambreaker. I guess I just play that out. Yeah, let's do it. Could have another counter spell, but don't really care, to be honest. Now I can put a counter onto the Kiyora's Dambreaker.
Be your best self.
Yeah, I think I just win here. I don't see how the opponent can win unless he has a board wipe. Or maybe Liliana. He can force me to sacrifice 2 creatures. But he would need double black with Liliana. He still needs like 2 blockers against this, otherwise he's dead. Yeah, let's Jace's Triumph here. Drawing a bunch of lands, sure.
I will help you through this.
Yeah, let's attack with everything. He's forced to chump both. He can still take out Jiang and Gu, but these are still two very difficult creatures for him to deal with. Oh, it dies. Okay. So yeah. Still have 6 more lands in the deck. Alright, so sweet. Managed to get there. Currently 2-1. Let's keep going. Alright, Snare Spear on 2, we have an Avian Eternal on 3, followed up by an Orange Wolf and Thunder Drake. I think I like this hand a lot, and we're also on the play. Finally, I don't think in any of our single games we were on the play yet. They were all on the draw. Seems like the opponent always had the initiative against us, but I'm liking this hand a lot. Opponent could be playing something, let's see. So he's definitely green. We'll see what type of green. Now what? I could just start with Sky Theater Strix and deal some damage in the air. I don't really see a reason to play out the Snare Spinner when I have a 1/2 attacker that can go in for a bit. Sure. I don't know why people keep playing that card. I don't think it's great. It's still 1/1, I mean, at the end of the day. It's a bit neutralized. I could just play the Avian Eternal right now. I think I might just to put an Invasive Attacker in the air. Like, Arlen's Wolf would be a nice consideration, but just having an air attacker might just be better. And I can set up a nice Thunder Drake. If I top deck a land next turn, I can also double spell the following turn after. Does he have another transmutation? Okay, Conjurant. It's a little bit problematic. Could just draw 2 cards, make sure we don't miss our land drop. Or I can just develop the Arlen's Wolf and potentially just trade off for this. I don't mind. Right. I'm liking the Thunder Drake. He could have Counterspell up, but I think I risk it. Yeah, I'll just attack with everything. I think I'm willing to offer the Arlen's Wolf as a nice trade, just to get rid of Yugen's Conjurant, which can become a quite problematic. Could be a Counterspell, but I think I still go for it. Why not? Next turn I can double spell, which can be really scary for the opponent. Now the question is, do I proliferate or do I put a counter? I think I put a counter onto the Avian Eternal. This is going to grow anyways. I could proliferate with the Palm Bright Druid to make this grow into a 4/4. Okay, that's kind of scary, so now what? Definitely think I'm double spelling here. So I'm playing out the Snare Spinner for sure. I could just Proliferate and put this order this trigger first so it becomes a 4/5. You could have removal, however. But I think I still go for it so I can eventually attack past this this Rolesque. So yeah, I think I just go for it. Yeah, it's Proliferate. Because eventually I need to get past this Rolesque, otherwise I'm screwed. He could again have bounce or removal, but there's not much I can do against that. Okay, that's even more annoying, so I think I'm fine if he attacks. He's definitely on the... I'm definitely way ahead of him, so I can Jace's Triumph here, draw 2, play out land, and play the Erratic Visionary, which seems solid. Next turn, if I top deck a land, I could just Rescue Sphinx, bounce back the Palmbright Druid, and start growing the Thunder Drake even more. Grizzly can start finding him some cards off the top. I think he just activates it main phase. Doesn't find anything. So now what? Ooh, so this seems pretty nice. An excellent turn where I can play out the Rescuer Sphinx. And which one do I bounce back? Pride of Palmbright Druid. Yeah. And then play this out again. And then we Proliferate. Now the 7/6 can attack through, which seems really good. If I attack the 2, he's just going to block it, and it's still not lethal, so I think this seems pretty nice. He does need to grow this a little bit more, maybe with 2 more counters he can find something. He still misses. Okay, we got him. Rolesque would have been really sweet in our deck, to be honest. But happy that we got there. And the Proliferate was actually the right call. Let's open up a pack. And what's in this deck? Ooh, Oathstorm is pretty good. Don't hate it. It is forced to attack each combat, and it does lose counters every single time it is dealt damage, but it only loses 1 counter. And a 4/4 is pretty annoying that the opponent might just throw chump blockers in front of it and they're still losing creatures. So I do like the Oathsworn Knight. I think it's a good card. So to start with a nice black deck. So let's continue our draft. Currently 3-1. Alright, now what? We do have the Aven Eternal on 3 and Jace's Triumph. I could consider keeping this. Do we risk it? Maybe. We have like 2 draw steps to get our 3rd land. And then if we get our green mana up, I mean, we can play Thunder. I mean, we can double spell maybe with Thunder Drake in play. So, yeah, let's risk it. Hopefully we draw a land in 2 turns. Don't care about the Dreadmalkin. Ooh, okay, a land is good. So I'm just going to take 1 here. Next turn, I think I'm just going to play out the Aven Eternal. Even though the Jace's Triumph can get me my land drop for Thunder Drake. That's actually a good consideration. Let's think. I could Jace's Triumph, but I think Aven Eternal makes more sense. Because I already have a 4th land for this Thunder Drake. Rescuer Sphinx can bounce back to Jiang Yangu in case something happens. What happens if he attacks? I might consider just double blocking, like he's losing the Paradise Druid and this Dreadmalkin if he decides to attack. You could have a pump spell, but I'm fine with that. So or you could have something else. Okay, Crunch Wrangler is a bit annoying. Snare Spinner deals with the flying portion a bit. So now what? Rescuer Sphinx can attack past this Snare Spinner, so I might consider it here. So let's see, let's play out land. We can't quite double spell with Thunder Drake next turn. We could play a slower game, like I could play Iron Bully on this Avian Turtle, offer that trade. I could Rescue Sphinx bouncing this Avian Turtle back and then having a good attacker pass this 1-3. But I think the play is actually Thunder Drake here and just say go. We do need to deal with this Snare Spinner, but I think we can get there. This Herald, the opponent's just playing a bunch of stuff, so now what? Yes, I could double spell this turn, play out Jiang Yangu, put a counter on maybe Aven Eternal, and then play another 3-drop. Seems fine. Yeah, let's go for it. Now, what do I put the counter on? That's the question.
Much cuter than his bite.
I can actually just tap down this 1-1, in fact. So this currently does deal 3 damage, so if we get a counter on this, this looks really... this is going to survive. So maybe just the Aven Eternal. Just putting counters onto flyers to survive, perhaps. The Snare Spinner seems solid. And do I attack with the 4-4? Next turn he might just attack with the 3-2. Could use the 4-4 behind as a blocker. Could play some defense. Could start racing him. Next turn I can probably play Rescue Sphinx to get back Jiang Yangu. And start even more crazy shenanigans. I can double block this 1-1 real nicely if he decides to attack with it. I can block this 3-2. I can block this 2-1. If I attack with the Avian Eternal, I have 1 block. I have 2 blockers for this, but then he's going to send everything else at Jiang Yangu. So probably not. Let's just stay back. Probably has a removal spell. I'm smelling it. Sure. Yeah. I'm gonna let that resolve. I still have a blocker up against these other creatures, so I can get a nice free trade if they attack my Jiang Yangu. Don't mind giving him a mass token. Everything is gonna die anyway, so which one's much more better to kill off? This seems pretty nice, actually, just blocking here, getting rid of flyer. I could go for the Menacer, to be honest, but I think killing these 2 off is just much more significant. So I think I'm quite happy with that play. So now I think I can Jace's Triumph, draw 2 cards, and then there's a Palmbright Druid I can potentially utilize to proliferate. Maybe just having Skytheer Strix is better, putting on another base of attacker. I might just keep land in hand too. Next turn I can double spell anyways, so I think this attack is nice. Should I leave up a blocker for this 2-1? Probably not. He's probably just going to use it for to gain life. But now I think if I put a counter onto the Skytheater Strix, it would become another threat that he needs to deal with. I don't care about the Croc too much. Yeah. Okay. So now what? I guess I could Palmbright Druid and then Rescuer or something. Probably the Palmbright Druid. What do I want to do? Do I want to proliferate or put up another flying threat? Maybe just put a counter. And I can play Rescue Sphinx. Return back the Polymbright Druid. I can still chump block the 5/3. So I'm happy with this. And I can attack in for 6 in the air. Seems solid. And I can just chump the 5/3 if I need to. Next turn I can play this out to proliferate for lethal. Opponent could just have another removal spell. Sure. But I'm definitely chump blocking this 5/3 if he decides to attack with it. I can still take 5 actually. I think I'm fine chump blocking. Right, now we can play this out. What if I attack with both? I'm still 1 off. But I think it's worth it. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. He should be 1 off. So he needs to remove the Polymbright Druid and deal an extra damage. I think I'm going for it. In case he removes like this Aven Eternal, I can still chip in for 1 with this Strix. The Casualties of War there only got a creature and a land, so I don't care too much. It is an excellent card, but it's not a bomb or broken by any means. Simply because it's incredibly expensive, and sometimes the targets are just quite situational for it to get a lot more value out of. Sometimes you don't need to. Sometimes you just want to play 5 mana or 3 mana to kill off a creature, and he casts it 6 mana. So he needs to get rid of this chump blocker and deal an extra damage with the 2 cards he has in hand. Otherwise, it isn't lethal. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. He's 1 off. But with this blocker, with this 5/3, I should be able to secure this victory. You could Master Girl. Okay, got him. So yeah, pretty nice victory there. And let's see. I think we just need 3 more wins to get to 7. Currently 4-1. Not bad. Let's go. Let's continue. Alright, Polymbright Druid on 2. There's a Snare Spinner as well, and a Bloomhoke. Seems excellent. Let's do it. And a Rescuer Sphinx to bounce back the Polymbright Druid, if I need to just reset the counters and the proliferating. So now what do I play? Opponent isn't black, so he definitely has removal going. 5, fine playing out of 4, so I just play out the Pollen Bright as a 2/2. Doesn't look that great, especially if I'm planning to pick this up, back up with the Rescuer Sphinx. It does lose the counter. So I think I like the Snare Spinner. Next turn I might just end up putting a counter on this. And then Bloomhoke and whatnot. Alright, so he could have Jaya's Greeting, which can punish me for trying to put a counter onto this 1/3. So what now? What? I could just put the counter on the Pollen Bright Druid itself. And I can just pick up the Bloomhoke, perhaps, with this Rescuer Sphinx. He does have something up, so I think I'm fine just putting the counter on the Pollen Bright Druid. Just in case he has Jaya's Greeting, so this Snare Spinner doesn't lose a ton of value. So it's unfortunate that I might have to just play out, bounce back to Bloomhoke. Again, but I didn't want to risk the Jaya's Greeting. It would 2-for-1 me. I would lose a counter and also the 1/3, which seems pretty bad. So now what? Ooh, commence the endgame looks excellent. I think I'm just gonna play out the Bloomhoke and attack with the 3/3. Next turn I can attack with both, bounce back to Bloomhoke, and try to, and eventually try to replay it. Now what? I could attack and he offers a double block. I think it can be fine. Let's go for it. He kills off one of our creatures, but I think I might be fine just doing a trade here. I can easily just bounce back to Snare Spinner. You could have a 1-mana trick. Sure. I still... Oh, he's just ambushing my 3/2. That sucks. Okay. Well, it's a card for a card at least. And now what? Is there any reason to bring back the Bloomhoke? I guess the Bloomhoke's tapped out, so it's not that effective anymore. I still need a blocker behind to deal with this. So I think I want to bounce back to Bloomhoke. And also the Bloomhoke can just grow this Rescuer Sphinx as well. He could have a removal spell. That would be quite unfortunate. Toll, okay, nice. He took out my commence. Ooh, he didn't take out my commence the endgame. I think that's a bit of a misplay. I think the endgame would have been a better choice. But so now I can just cast at instant speed end of my turn. Or if he decides to just cast his own. Definitely not blocking here because he can just sacrifice his 1/1. And he can get a nice trade. So what happens now? I think I'm just going to play out the land, cast commence the endgame. End of turn, get a nice 3/3 mass token. But for now I can attack him in the air for 4. I think it was a bit of a mistake. I think he should have just got rid of the commence the endgame. I think that's a much more scarier card. But now it's like drawing me cards as well. And it's going to put a nice body, a mass body onto the battlefield. I still don't think I'm blocking, even if he attacks. Yeah, probably not blocking here. If I commence the end game, it's just going to be a mass 3. He's just going to sacrifice, get a nice first striker in. So no, I don't think I care about this. So is he just going to pass his turn? Turret Ogre, sure. And I'm definitely going to cast it at the end of my turn just to be mana efficient, just to refill my hand with 2 cards. Ooh, Jiang Yangu looks excellent. So now what? How much mana do I have? I have currently 7 mana. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So I can't play everything. However... I could... yeah, let's play Jiang Yangu here. Seems quite solid. I could play Arlen's Wolf and give it a counter.
Hey there. Let
But
me know if you find any cool new plants.
I think it might just be better to proliferate. Maybe not. Maybe I just put a counter onto Arlen's Wolf. Or just play out Arlen's Wolf and put a counter on something else. Yeah, it might just be better to put a counter onto the Snare Spinner.
Teamwork is strength.
And I can actually just proliferate here, so I think that's pretty nice. Well, it's hurt. Oh, I forgot this had reach. My bad, but I still think I have a pretty big army that can get through. This doesn't have first strike, so I could force him to attack. Yeah, that was a bit of misplay. I forgot that this thing had reach, so I could have saved it for a turn and then, you know, upgraded a little bit more with the Jiang Yangu the turn after and punch through. So lost a little bit of value over there. So a little bit of misplay. I think I can block here. Maybe I'm fine taking it. He's still forced to sack this 1-1, and I still have a better attack back against this opponent. And I could just maybe just tap the zombie army and kept it the 3-5 as a better blocker. But I'm fine having this die, perhaps. I still have some good attacks next turn. He needs to get rid of this amass token, then I can swing back for a whole bunch. So. And this is totally tapped out, so.
I hope we meet again.
Now I have a good solid 3 attackers, and he might have to chump. Alright, still, his attackers aren't that great. He needs to do some chump blocking here, definitely. So, happy with this attack. He could just take 6 down to 2, which I don't mind. We still have a chump block behind. I don't think he can deal 16 damage to me at this point. I think I'm pretty solid. We're pretty solid with what we got right now. Did a bit of a misplay of that Rescuers thing, so maybe I should have stayed back with it. And just done some trades against that turret ogre. Okay, now he has a chump blocker. So this could be interesting. Snare Spinner. So if I attack with everything, what happens? He's probably going to chump block something. Sacrifice this, get a good trade on this 4-4. I can still attack with a 3-2. But I think it's better just attack with a 3-2, I guess. Or attack with everything. So what happens? If I attack with everything, he's most likely going to block something. Sacrifice it, block this 3-2, chump block this 4-4. Yeah, I think I'm fine just sending everything in. I don't think I want to play the long game. And he would need to block the Arlen's Wolf, otherwise he'll be dead, and he needs the extra power. So he definitely needs to sacrifice the Grim Initiate. He could have some instant speed interactions, but he still needs to use the whole mana for it. He definitely needs to block this Arlen Wolf, and then he needs to chump block everything else. Spark Reaper, he could just sacrifice something, draw a card with this, but it just still dies. And I still have the board presence, so I'm quite happy with this. So, do I play around Massacre Girl? I think even with the Spider, I do play around it. Everything has pretty high toughness. He could play a 2-drop and then Massacre Girl the turn after, but then he still needs to deal with my board. Like, he needs to play a 2-drop and Massacre Girl to get through. So what if I attack with everything? 1 to 4-5 blocks the 4-4. The 2-2 blocks the 3-5, and I get in for 1. Maybe that's worth it. Maybe it's not. Maybe Strix can be fine for now. Like, if I attack with everything, it is kind of risky. I do put him at 1, though, and he does lose this blocker. But, yeah, he's going to be at 1, so I think I go for it. And I can just attack back with everything else next turn. Opponent needs to deal with the flyer and all these creatures on the ground. He could have Massacre Girl again, but that would be quite shitty because I will only have 1 creature up. Actually, I think everything will die if he has Massacre Girl. So he could just be going for the Aid the Fallen, given the fact that he's looking at his graveyard. So Massacre Girl would be a total blowout if he has it, and that's the only way I can see him winning. Okay, sure. So he has a blocker in the air for the air creature, but I still have a bunch of creatures on the ground, and he's at 1 life. So yeah, I got him. Right, currently 5-1. Pretty happy with our results so far, even though we lost our first game. I think this deck does deserve at least 6 or 7 wins in this best out of 1 format. But yep, just reviewing the deck for those who didn't watch the first draft video. Well, why do I need to review? It's just a solid 2-drop curve, solid 3-drop, and a bunch of late game cards. The only bomb is probably just commence the end game, to be honest. Everything else is just pretty much above average cards that I drafted. We don't have enough interaction. We have like Calus' Missile and Band Together as the only ways to interact with the opponent's creatures. So that's the downside of this deck. But other than that, it's full of creatures, and we're just looking to push through and beat down the opponent. So yep, currently 5-1. Let's get to our 6 or 7 wins, and yeah, I'm definitely happy with how our draft performed so far. So yep. So Arlen's Wolf on 3. We are missing some 2s, but we do have Band Together. Hopefully we can get some 2s going, and this Courage and Crisis can pull us. But yeah, I like the Orange Wolf. Let's keep this hand. Okay, let's start off with the Forest. Alright, let's put Forest. Okay, so opponent's drafting the Charm Strays deck. Would have been nice if I had this on turn 2. So now what? I guess the 1/3 blocks these more efficiently. The Orange Wolf is a lot more mana efficient. It can still block the 1/1 pretty nicely. But I could just take another 2, or I could just consider trading this off in case he has another Charm Stray. So yeah, let's just play off this Arlen's Wolf. I'm fine taking another 2 in Lifelink, just to be a little bit more mana efficient. But if he plays another Charm Stray, I'm definitely trading this 3/2 for this 2/2. He could just play it afterwards. Do I just trade it? He is gaining a bunch of life. Next turn I could set up some Band Togethers or something. And I probably need to band together with this power to shoot something down, so maybe I just take it. I don't think I'm racing the opponent anytime soon. Now what? I could just attack next turn, just band together. I could just leave up a snare spinner. He could still attack with a 2/2, I guess, but this can still block it. Or Encouraging Crisis here. He does have mana up. Maybe I just do it now. Yeah, it can be pretty annoying. Hopefully I don't get punished by instant speed. And I can just attack for 3. Hate using my only interaction removal spell on a single 1/1, but it was getting a little bit out of hand, I think. And the opponent is still stuck, but we are still stuck as well, but I think I'm fine just attacking with his 3/2. He could have Crushing Descent, but whatever. I don't care about this getting countered. It's a block for the 1/1, but he could just counter this with like no escape, and that's one of the least concerning targets that I care too much about this being countered. He did have some. He was holding some priority, so he probably has something going. This Snare Spear doesn't trade too well. I guess now I can just Courage in Crisis. Maybe this 1/3 to have a blocker against this Enforcer Griffin. Because this doesn't block it too correctly. I think I need to play some defense due to the fact that I'm a bit behind. So yeah, I think we just do this and say go. He could have removal like Wanderer Strike, which I would get punished for, but that's what you get for not getting your blue lands in time. So, okay, Charm Stray, sure. If he attacks with his 2/2, I'm going to be a little bit suspicious here. Palmbright Druid is fine. I could just put a counter on this Arlen's Wolf and attack, which I think I will. Could have no escape. I think I'm going to do it. Just because this offers a trade into the air creature, and it's still attacking past these Charm Strays. So I think I'm fine with this. Yep, I think this is good. Trading down seems nice. Trading a 3/3 for a 5/5 flyer that can potentially threaten me in the air. Not a big fan of this Charm Stray strategy. The fact that I'm flying out is kind of bad too. Yeah, I'm just going to say go, play land, say go. If I top deck, I do need double blue for this endgame though, so maybe I should have kept the land, but yeah, maybe I should just kept the land. It could have possibly made my endgame, commence the endgame bigger, but now I drew my land. Do I just play out the Thunder Drake as another creature? Maybe I just Jace's Triumph, but I think I'd rather have the Thunder Drake countered for some reason, just because the card draw seems more relevant. So yeah, I'll just play this out. And he didn't seem to have any counter spells after I played this Palmbright Druid, but he could still be holding it up. So yeah, I think that I'm doing pretty well with this. Opponent did draft this Charm Stray deck, so I gotta be careful with that. But with enough toughness, I think we can hold on to this. And now we can Jace's Triumph. Don't think there's any reason to bounce a Charm Stray at all. Now we can play a land and double spell. And which card should I play out? Maybe the Skydeer Strix, put a little bit more damage in the air. Grows the Drake, so. Don't think there was any reason for me to play the Grizzly. Like, I'd rather have another attacker in the air to put him on the clock. Next turn I can cast Commence the Endgame, end of turn, fill up my hand again, make a nice amass creature. Okay, Time Wipe. So that's scary. I still have Commence the Endgame to try to ambush him. And I think I'm just going to keep my land in hand. I could just play out the Grizzly, to be honest, but I think I'm just fine with this. I can amass a nice 5-drop next turn and push in some damage. Or if he plays something I can ambush, that seems pretty nice. Alright, so maybe I just ambush a Charm Stray. Yeah, I think I should try to surprise him. And if he doesn't attack this turn, I think I'm just going to do it anyways end of turn. So this is nice. This can't be countered, so pretty happy that I kind of baited him into this. And I don't think there's any instant speed bounce besides the I forgot the it's totally lost that can deal with this. He probably has it. Divine Arrow, sure. He's still 2 for 1ing himself, losing a creature and a removal spell. But I think I was happy with that. I drew some cards. Okay, so now what? I think I like the Thunder Drake here. I think I'm just gonna double spell for the time being. Do I just bounce this back to put? I think I'm fine still taking 3. You could just have a counter spell here. Jeez. Yeah. Sucks. So now what? I think I can still take 3 for now. You could have a scarier threat, so. And I think playing out a land is fine, just because I'm going to start activating this Grizzly. But for now, I think I'm just going to take 3. I think I can get there. I think I did lose a bunch of cards, but I have a second Thunder Drake. I also have another Snare Spinner. I have another. I don't care about that. Jiang Yang Gu looks excellent, so I can potentially just Callous Dismissal here on this flyer. Play a Jiang Yang Gu. Put a counter on the Aven Eternal.
And this is share in my strength.
Play out my Vivian's Grizzly. And I think I'm fine playing out all my lands, just so I might activate this twice. And I don't really need the lands to grow my Commence the Endgame. I don't think I have any creatures that really care too much about it. If I get Rescuer Sphinx, that would be quite excellent. And I am playing a pretty heavy creature deck. I use my Band Together and my Jace's Triumph and my Commence the Endgame and Callous Dismissal already. So I don't think I'm too scared of activating this, to be honest. But let's see. So I think I'm fine just activating this. Let's tap our mana more efficiently. I don't care. So now I think I can play a land, maybe buff the Vivian's Grizzly.
Be your best self.
Proliferate. Yeah. And do I attack? Probably, or I can be a little bit more greedy. I think I might just be fine attacking him with the Vivian's Grizzly, and if he wants to trade off for it, that's fine. He is losing 2 creatures and a flyer, and I can also activate this. So he could just chump block, and that's fine. But yeah, I'm happy taking rid of this flyer. So before damage, I think I'm just gonna activate this. And I like the Rescuer Sphinx, definitely excellent. Get a nice trade. I can reset the loyalty counters off of this Planeswalker next turn by bouncing it. Actually, this is interesting. I could just bounce the Palmbright Druid, to be honest. I think that might have a little bit more value. So let's see here. I could just Palmbright Druid here. I think, do I Proliferate or do I put counter? Maybe just Proliferate. I should just put a counter first. Now that I think about it, that was pretty dumb. But now I think I can put one here.
I will help you through this.
Rescuer Sphinx. And Proliferate again. Nice 6/6 attacker. Nice 5/5 attacker. Let's go. I could just activate it first, my bad, onto the Palmbright Druid. Play this out, Proliferate. and then played the Rescuer Sphinx, bouncing back, proliferating again. Yeah, messed up that order a bit, but could have the 4/4 Palm Bright Druid instead of a 3/3, but pretty happy. So yeah, pretty happy with this draft so far. Let's just take a dumb screenshot. We got up to 6 wins. Hopefully we can get to that amazing 7-1 victory. So let's put the interaction stuff here. And yeah, let's take a picture here. And yeah, let's move on to our 7th final boss and get that lucky 7-1 or 7-2. So let's go. Alright, we have Palm Bright Druid on 2. Yeah, I think this is a keep. I think it's pretty good. So I think I want to put a counter on the Sky Theater Strix, and I would like to play this first simply because it's a flyer, and having this as a 2/3 threat in the early game seems nice. Well, the La Rune Enforcer can shut things down, so that's pretty obnoxious. But for now, let's just play our lands. Say go. Take 1 from this La Rune Enforcer. He could have cards like Divine Arrow or Gideon's Triumph, which could be quite a problem to deal with. Now, their Snare Spinner makes it a different story. I would need to buff this flyer by a lot in order to start chipping in. It would at least need to be 4 toughness. So now what? I can just drop the Snare Spinner. I could start growing it, I guess. How else am I going to win this? You could have like Divine Arrow getting Sacrifice if I'm being too aggressive here. I don't think the Palm Bright Druid putting a counter on itself is good. I don't think maybe a Snare Spinner can just be a fine blocker right now. Because the flyer doesn't really do much, but I think it still blocks okay, so let's try it out. Hopefully we don't miss a land drop. If we do get our land, do we just play out Zhang Yangu maybe? Put a counter on this. And you could have something dumb like Gideon's Sacrifice. It's just punching in for 1. I think I'm fine blocking this La Rune for now. Crawl, Stinger is a bit obnoxious. How do we deal with that? Maybe I can put a counter onto on Palm Bright Druids itself and offer a trade with it. He could just tap it down. If I put a counter on Strix, what happens? He could have Band Together, he could have Gideon's Triumph, and I could just be out of ammo. Maybe in this game I'm just looking to play defense, given the fact that I'm missing my land drops. So, Yeah, let's put on Palm Bright Druid. So it can just trade off for the 2/2. He could just start tapping this down and then attacking in for 3, of course. And therefore he's in a much more aggressive situation than us. we don't have much in terms of removal other than maybe Callous Dismissal and Band Together. So Band Together would be a pretty nice top deck next turn. Maybe I can just take 2, like let's just say, I can't even cast Band Together the turn after, so maybe I just block and just do the trade. Yeah, let's go for it. If he has any Proliferate counters, I'm pretty much dead. I guess now I can start growing the Sky Theater Strix. This Snare Spinner still doesn't block too efficiently. Yeah, maybe still the Druid. Yeah, I don't think I'm attacking past this anytime soon. And I'm probably just going to double block if he attacks with this. I could get blown out by like a removal spell like Divine Arrow or Gideon's Triumph. He could just tap something down and attack in for 4. But I took the risk of keeping this 2-lander with 3 2-drops. So I can't really blame myself. If he attacks with both, I definitely think I'm blocking the 1-3. Yeah, taking 3 for now. Hopefully the opponent doesn't pick up any more Proliferate. That's a good card. So now I kind of regret maybe putting the counter on the Sky Theater Strix. I still have the Snare Spinner to deal with the Mowu if he wants to give it flying. But I'm definitely going to get a value trade off of this Trusted Pegasus if he attacks with all this. He could just tap it down and attack for 5, of course. That is quite a crazy... So I'm smelling Pledge of Unity here. It feels like a Pledge of Unity turn. So what happens? I could just quad block this. This is going to become a 5-5 though if he pledges of Unity. So I'm not going to get a good trade. If I block here, he's just going to pledge and kill it. So it's definitely Pledge of Unity. I can't imagine anything else. I'm going to have to take maybe 7 here. But it's definitely Pledge of Unity. Otherwise, well, it was a Giant Growth actually, so... I think he was just feigning Pledge of Unity, but how else am I going to deal with this anyways? I could just Courage and Crisis, hopefully, if I pick up another land. And I did. Courage and Crisis seems pretty good, simply because I can grow this up into a 3-4 potentially, and this also grows. He could just start tapping down with the Law Rune Enforcer, of course. But I don't think Jiang Yangu makes... I don't even think Jiang Yangu is that great. Regardless, so I just need a way to block this error. In case I do find a removal for this Law Rune Enforcer, I can try to. I still have some blockers that can. I still have a blocker that deals with this. This Trusted Pegasus. Do I attack here? I do take an extra damage for Snare Spinner, so probably not. I think I'm fine not attacking. Definitely taking 5 in the air here, which kind of sucks. But so be it. Now, if I find removal, what do I use it on? Probably the... okay, so... pretty interesting turn. If I Callous Dismissal Law Rune, he's just going to lock it down anyways. I think the right choice would be the Callous Dismissal the Trusted Pegasus. In case he locks this down, the 3-3 still makes a fine trade onto this Mowu, so I think I'm fine just delaying a turn, just doing this. Because this I'm at 6, this is a lot of damage. He could, of course, just tap it down and then next turn tap it down again. So probably no attacks. And the turn he's just going to tap on the 4-4, probably tap on the 3-3 and attack for the 3-3 again and develop the Pegasus. So I'm kind of screwed either way. Opponent does have a really strong deck. Really powerful start. I got punished for missing a bunch of land drops. Happens, limited, so... I don't think there's any point in chumping this, because he's just going to give this flying next turn. Well, he totally tapped out, so I guess he's giving me an extra turn. Well, that's not the card I'm looking for. He's going to have 5 in the air for flying. He's just going to tap this down next turn. I could put up Jiang Yangu as a potential target for him to remove, perhaps. Or I can just Jace's Triumph. It's still 6 damage, I think, if he... He's going to attack him for 5. I can still double block. Yeah, I might have to Jace's Triumph to find some lands. find a band together or something to deal with this trusted Pegasus. So, well, that's a bummer. Missing our land drops. Okay, sometimes you get the draw, sometimes you don't. So now he can just attack for 5 in the air. Even if the Rescuer Sphinx, I think I'm dead. He's going to get this flying. Maybe the Vivian's Grizzly. Take 5 for now. He could just pump and I'm dead. Yeah, I think it's just a good game here. Yeah. Can't really do much when you're missing on your land drops, so be it. I think it was a good fine keep, simply because I had 3 2-drops, and having 17 lands makes them a lot likely that I end up drawing my lands anyways. So, yeah, let's make this the final game. Hopefully I get the win. Even if not, I think I'm just going to upload this video. Seems like a really good draft video for me to upload, so... Alright, so let's get this victory. Sure, do I keep this? I don't have any 2-drops, I'm on the draw. I think I still keep, given that I have 4 lands and I can potentially get there, and I can end up drawing a 2 or 3-drop on the way. I think this is still reasonable keep. Let's keep it. And no 2-drop, but yeah, Star of the Forest. Seems like I have some Palmbright Druids I need to cast. Pone is in Golgari. He's playing the green-black multicolor deck. Well, hopefully we get a 3-drop now. Maybe I shouldn't have shown the island, but I guess I'll be taking 2 for a while. If he has a Bloomhoke on 4, that would be quite devastating. Palmbright Druid's annoying. He can just grow this Crunch to give it Trample. I guess he's trying to diversify. Yeah, not exactly what I'm looking to draw. I guess we're gonna have one of those games where we just died to the opponent because we didn't draw our lands. Now he's gonna play Bloomhoke, and I'm screwed, perhaps. Well, he would have used it before combat, I think, just to get the value, but still taking a beating. Well, he's gonna get rid of my 4-drop now, and I'm just still gonna take a beating. Yeah, he's going to take out my 4-drop play. I'm going to go down to perhaps 9. So I do need to end up top decking a 4-drop or something. Bully isn't great, but at least it's something I can use to trade off for. Next turn I can pull out the Ashiok and hopefully stabilize. I could maybe just take this damage so I get more Proliferate value from the Kiora, but I don't think that's worth doing. Bloomhoke is annoying. Okay, so I don't have any good trades besides this 2-2. So I still think I trade just to prevent more damage. So unfortunately this is annoying. I'm at 7, so he could just attack with everything and I'm dead. I could Aven Eternal, but I can't band together. This has trample, so yeah, let's play out the Ashiya Skulker, see if our opponent's smart enough to figure it out. He's just going to attack with everything, I'm dead. So yeah, another game where, you know, you don't end up getting your creatures in time, or your lands, and you're just dead, and you're dead. So unfortunately, we have to end this draft with a 6-3, but at least we got the 6 wins. Sometimes the luck is just in your favor. I think the curve in this deck is really good. We had a bunch of 2-drops, 3-drops, and some 4-drops as well. The only problem was lacking the interaction spells that could have potentially dealt with the opponent's creature early on, but yeah, I can't really complain. 6 and 3 is fine. So let's just crack this pack. And pick one, pack one, maybe the feather. Not a big fan of red, white in this format, to be honest. But this can be pretty busted if it's on the battlefield with a bunch of instant speed or sorcery spells to trigger this off. The most flexible pick would be the Trusted Pegasus, but maybe Feather the Redeem has a higher power level if you draft around it that is worth taking over the Trusted Pegasus. Either way, yeah, I think I'm just going to end this draft, so stay tuned for more videos. Have a great day, guys.